Let's go.
Yo, yo, yo. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening whenever y'all are catching this. Thank y'all so much for watching the MMAHOLICS podcast, episode 49 of the MMAHOLICS show. Thank y'all again. Always appreciate y'all taking some of your time out to watch us break down some of the fights. We got a great pay-per-view for y'all this Saturday. In my opinion, probably one of the best cards this year. Some people are giving it a 7 out of 10 and shit like that. In my opinion, I do think it's a straight up 9 out of 10, and that's pre-performance. So that's pretty massive. If the fights deliver, we could easily walk away with the 10 out of 10 card Saturday night going into Sunday morning. So I'm really excited to break down this card. I'm not gonna lie, especially how we do have 15 fights on this fucking pay-per-view. It's been a long time since we've had that many fights. Um, but yeah, man, how you feeling though, Nick? And I know you've been training hard. Recovering from any underlying injuries you might have and stuff. So, how's this week been for you, man? How's it been training? And how's life been in general?
It's good, dude. Just got back from Jersey this weekend. Was on a little vacation. It was a nice time to get away. I mean, you know, it's the summertime, so if anyone's thinking of getting away, just do it while it's still nice out. Yeah, it's been good, dude. Got a great card ahead of us. I texted you. I was like, yo, these prelims are looking amazing. I didn't
Pretty
even look
fire.
at the card till I think the start of this week. I didn't even see what the fights were looking like, and it was only 12 fights the other day. Now we have the Ultimate Fighter fights on here, plus one Contender Series fight, which is back up. So I mean, yeah, I'm excited for this card. I think it's gonna be really good. Um, Long time awaiting. Got Hamzat Chimaev fighting for a title. So I mean,
Yep.
this is gonna be a legendary card. I think so.
I do agree. Especially like, in my opinion, I don't think it's a stretch to say that Hamzat is like literally like the greatest prospect of all time. Like, I was wild, when I was watching when he first came in during the pandemic. Crazy to think that was 5 years ago. He's been on the roster for 5 years already. He came in. I think the first one was John Phillips. And like he destroyed him. He couldn't stop a takedown. It was pretty cool though because he went on to help. But he went to train with John Phillips as he prepared for his next fight. He was helping him kind of stuff the takedowns and stuff like that. So even back then, Hamzat was showing what kind of nice guy he really was, especially like after gaining respect for former opponents. And after that, so he beat Reese McKee's ass in like 2 weeks later, and then after that he knocked out Gerald Mearshart in like 17 seconds. So he came out the gate just so fucking hot. Like it was truly unprecedented, and everyone saw that with how they were trying to match him and Leon Edwards stuff. They did it like 3 different times. It was pullouts on each side, and then the last time they just scrapped it because I think Hamza even retired at one point. He retired at one point. That's how crazy this whole thing got. He was literally going to be like the biggest what if in MMA history, but it's not be a what if anymore. I mean, we might find out if he was really that good. And it's really cool to see him really come this far. His record's 14-0, so he doesn't have that many fights, which is actually I think is good. He hasn't taken much damage at all, to be real. So it's good for the division to have him here. He finally got the visa issues cleared up, the underlying travel issues, because this is in Chicago inside the U.S. So I am excited to see what's going to happen on this card, and yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and pull it up on Topology,
Yeah, let's do it.
for
I
sure.
love, you know what I love about the UFC is when you get these cards later down the line and you have these people who are fighting in different spots on the card who face each other in the past, like on this card it was Mearshart and Chimaev, like wouldn't a crazy
Hmm.
turn of events in the past Mearshart beat Chimaev and now he's working his way up for a title shot. And it happens a lot that you see opponents on the same card up and down the card. It's cool to see that, I love to see that because it's just like I know for Chimaev, obviously he's a big contender, and Mearshart probably no
Right.
one ever looked at as a future champion, but you never know in this sport. So it's nice to see them in different spots on the card.
Exactly. And like for me, like it's always cool to see like just the on like the storylines itself, like because I get it. Not every prelim fight's gonna have a storyline like Jessica Andrade versus Lupita Godinez. Like there's no real like unless Jessica's a future Hall of Famer. Lupi's trying to really take her spot. That's really the biggest storyline you can really get out of that. Or like Rodrigo Cinzanando versus Daniil Donchenko. Like Not of course, these guys are making their debuts. I think that's a story in of itself. But when you get to the pay-per-view main card, literally every fight has a story behind it. So I am very intrigued to see what's going to happen on this card. We can go ahead and get started with the prelims. We can get to that beautiful, beautiful pay-per-view. And yeah, man, starting out with the first fight of the night. Um, got Libby Adiris versus Joseph Morales. Pretty sure this is the Tough finale. It sucks, man. I was so busy because like Tough used to come on Thursday nights. They switched it to Tuesday, so it was just like it really fucked me up, man. In terms of my availability, trying to watch the season, it's no point now, because I'm pretty sure this guy Libby was most definitely cut from a different cloth on that series, on that season, I should say, and man, like even looking at the betting odds right now, even going through the matchup, like Alibi, most people are picking him. Almost 3,000 people on Tapology are favoring him by 94% to get this done. I haven't had the pleasure of watching this guy fight. I will be honest. I can see from his record, he is fairly well rounded. He has 4 wins via TKO, 1 sub, 4 decisions. We know he has a good gas tank and he has a good striker. He was a champion back in Niza. So and he defended his belt twice, going 5 rounds and with the first round KO. So we know this dude is already going through. He's already had championship experience, even outside of the UFC. So that's gonna do him a massive justice as he prepares to face the best competition literally in the world. And so for this one, Joseph Morales. Again, I didn't get to watch this guy on Tough, but obviously, if he made it to the final, he's supposed to be here for a reason. He's 30 years old, 5'6" with a 68-inch reach. Um, it's crazy. It's so funny. Both these guys won regional scene titles, but this dude, like, he fought back in 2023, so he had a pretty big layoff heading into Tough. Probably had some injuries or something like that. Um, and it's funny, he got knocked out by Davis Figueiredo back in 2018. This guy used to be in the
Yeah, it's
UFC.
his second
That's
stunt. I heard. I didn't know
yeah.
about him, but second stunt for him.
But to say like yeah, he used to be in the UFC. So damn. Damn, man, that kind of changes. I mean, like, yo, he's fought the way better competition and he looked good on the rebound in the regional scene. But for me, I always favor the confidence of an undefeated fighter. So I was gonna go with Alibia Daris to get the fight done via decision. He could get the knockout here, but I think he'll win the fight via decision, 3 rounds unanimously.
All right. I have also not seen Tough. I seen a YouTube clip of one of the fights that Alibi did win. I was watching that, but besides that, I've seen 2 of his regional fights on YouTube. From what I've seen, he does look like the truth. I mean, the undefeated makes sense. He looks like one of those elite flyweights with like really good striking. I mean, he's fast twitch. He throws really good kicks. He's a counter striker. From what I could tell from him. He attacks the calves a lot of calf kicks, then switches up high. He has a lot of power. That's one thing I noticed. He could knock a motherfucker out at 125. He looks scary, dude. He looks really good. Not much on Joseph Morales. I didn't watch his Figgy fight over. I kind of saw that, and I would assume that was just going to be a fight that Figgy dominated him in, so I didn't even watch it. He got booted from the UFC for a reason, I'm assuming. So I'm
You're
not going to
funny,
judge
yeah.
him based off his last performance in the UFC. It's kind of not fair. It's all the way down the line too. It was in like 2019 or something. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Alibi in this one to win it by a knockout. Start the
Mm-hmm.
night off strong.
Yeah, man, I hope so. Shit, man, like that Apex card last week was pretty solid, man. I'm not gonna lie, like, I honestly kind of enjoyed it, and we got UFC Shanghai after this card, so 2 arena cards back to back. Feeling pretty good about that, and I will be awake for that. Already got that day off work on Saturday, so I'm gonna watch some fights and go fucking sleep after. Best believe it. Going to the second fight of the night, Rodrigo Cinzanando versus Daniil Donchenko. I'll let you have this one first if you want, bro.
I actually don't have nothing. So when I did my breakdowns, this was not on the card yet. I think this is the Contender Series guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
this
one?
is
Oh no, that's Sir Kai.
oh,
He's
this is the
fighting a
other
little
tough
bit.
fight.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah, like I said, this was not on the card when I did my breakdowns. When I did my breakdowns, it went from that fight right to the two girls fighting. So I didn't have anything from this. I did see, I think it was Daniil, maybe it was his knockout, when he, stopped the guy, and then it was the back of the head, I think, and then they restarted and he finished it. If I'm assuming correct, I think it's that guy, Donchenko. So I mean, he looks good. He knocked out a guy twice in a row, pretty much, even if it was back of the head. I'll just
Mm-hmm.
throw my assumption on him. These dudes are both riding 4-fight win streaks in the past 2-3 years. So yeah, I'm gonna rock with Daniil. Where's he from? Ukraine. I'll rock with the Ukrainian for this fight.
Hmm. Yeah, and it looks like we're gonna agree. Just even like doing my little bit of due diligence I was able to do on this on this fight. I just kind of like Daniil Donchenko more. Um, this thing calculate he has better power in a sense. He's younger at 24 years old, so he's not even nowhere near his prime. And already has a fairly amount of experience with 13 fights. So he went 5-1 in Niza. It's a lot of dudes on it. Well, it's nothing. So he's a Ukrainian, so it makes sense. Because that's a big promotion over there. He was also a former NISA champion, and he also went 5 rounds. So another guy with championship experience. Winning a title and defending it is extremely hard, no matter where you are. I get it. It was we won. He beat a 14-9 guy to win it. He defended it against an 8-5 guy. But like I always say, you can only fight who you're given. So, yeah, man, I was gonna go with Donchenko to get this fight done via decision. You
All
going up the
right.
card? Got the fly with the ladies, most definitely. Yeah, man. So for this, I think a lot of people are off on Karini Silva for some reason. Like, I get it. She didn't have the best performance in her last fight. Um, but she was undefeated inside the UFC until that happened. And like she was looking pretty fucking good the way she was like finishing these girls. You just don't normally see that, especially in the flyweight division among women. Like the way she was spitting, like I mean, knee bars, guillotines, dart strokes. Like it didn't matter. She was taking these souls in the first round, and I really think that with Viviane Araújo, I think something might have happened. Something definitely happened. It just wasn't a good performance from her. She might have been injured or something like that. But Vivi is also a good fighter too. So I don't want to hold it against her. Like she's 31 years old. She's still improving. So um yeah, I mean, I think she'll have a way better camp. She'll learn from that. That Vivi loss was in November of 2024, so it has been a little bit, for sure. Definitely took the time off to learn from that. And she's fighting Diani Barbosa, who's taking this on short notice, but Barbosa actually has a win over Karini Silva, from when they fought a few years ago. So, it goes to show you, like, I mean, hey, like, never give up, and you never know who you'll fight out there again. You feel me? She lost Miranda Maverick a couple fights ago, and she has a win over Marina Belbita. I can't take anything away from that. Belbita was one of the worst, not one of the best fighters in her division at the moment, and her record indicates that, being 15-9 at the time that she got caught. I don't even know if Deanna is still fighting. She hasn't fought since then. It was in April, so she might just be chilling at home for now. But yeah, I do think that I just like what I've seen from Karini more, man. I get people are off of her. It was a one fight, and I get it. They probably picked her in a bet and got burned. But like I still think Silva, like I'm going off consistency, and I think Silva has improved way more since their first fight in 2019. So yeah, man, I think she's gonna like. I think she can win this fight. That was the last loss she had until she made it to the UFC and was undefeated in the UFC for like a year, a year and a half. So I got Karini Silva to win this fight. Be a second round. Nah, fuck that. First round submission.
Shit. All right. I agree with you. I'm also gonna be taking Silva in this one, but I think it most likely goes to a decision. I was really high on Barbosa. I did want to take her in this fight, but I didn't like how she was fighting off of, I think, 2 weeks' notice. Um, Not my favorite for two grappler heavy fighters. We know they both want to grapple in this fight. They both want to prove they're better grapplers than each other. I'm pretty sure Silva's a fighting nerd, and then Barbosa fights over at like the Rhinos or something. But yeah, I mean, they're both very high level grapplers. I did see some, I was going on Instagram and stuff trying to see what they're about. Um, Silva, she has a really dangerous guard. I was watching her fight this Asian girl, and she was in the I think it's the rubber band guard. So it's like, you're grabbing the head and then you're kind of wrapping your legs back towards their head and trying to get into like a omoplata, use your legs. Dude, it's a very dangerous thing. But the thing I didn't like about it, why I did want to pick Barbosa, it's just so dangerous to kind of play your guard on your back like that in MMA
Mm-hmm.
when you're prone to elbows and strikes. And I wasn't really, she was getting hit. She was getting hit. Silva was doing a lot of damage, but she was getting hit a lot in that fight. Um, Being comfortable on your back in MMA is super dangerous because obviously the ground and pound's coming, and all it takes is one punch to get cut open. Um, like I said though, Barbosa is fighting off a 2 weeks notice, so I'm not too convinced to pick Barbosa in this one. I'm gonna take Silva. But I think this will be a very competitive fight. I think it'll go to a decision. I just think the gas tank's gonna wear on Barbosa because she wasn't fully in fight camp ready.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree, man. That's a great assessment. Especially with Deani taking this on short notice. Like, I just think with less pressure, like I think she'll just be all over her. She'll be more aggressive this time around. Like, she knows she has to get this win, man. She can't drop two in the hole after starting out undefeated inside the Ultimate Fighting Championship, yo. And I think she'll get back on the horse with this one, most definitely. Going into the next fight, um, Sultan Ruzi Bolt versus Brian Battle. Now, this is where the card really starts to get pretty fucking insane. I'm not gonna lie. Like even from here on, like literally the next after this is fucking Edson Barboza versus the Carclos. It's like this shit gets pretty intense from here on out. Yeah, man. Going into the next this one. Matter of fact, I started the last one, so you can start first on this one, Nikki.
For
Brian
sure.
Battle versus
This
Ruzi
one's
Bolt.
really interesting. Obviously you see there's a big difference in professional experience in this fight. Brian Battle has 14 fights. Rusi Boev has about like
Well, like 36 plus
49. Was
plus
that
minus
49 off
12,
the I don't
like
even know. I'm bad at math. But there's a lot of fights to a little bit of fights. But Brian Battle is very good.
45
A
minutes.
lot of people do think that he's gonna fade off soon. They think he's gonna lose. They just don't like his fighting style. I see that online.
He's a good
I
fighter, bro.
I think he's good, dude. I think he's really good. I think what he has that a lot of other people don't have, it's that grit. It's that when things go south, he's just a gritty fighter. That dude could wrestle. That dude could cage fight very well. And he's gonna stand with you. Um, I think Battle's going to be able to keep this one on the feet. Ruziboev, as we know, is a 6'5". This is a welterweight fight, right? This is a welterweight fight. Let me just make sure.
It is not middleweight. Middleweight. Brian's going up.
It
He
is a
missed last
middleweight.
time.
Okay, it is a middleweight fight.
He
Even
started
so,
out there though, so
even so, a
yeah.
6'5" middleweight is huge. So a welterweight, 6'5" welterweight's huge, but a 6'5" middleweight is still very big. Um, Battle's just a really scrappy fighter, and he's gonna have a way higher output in this fight. Ruzibov, he lands hard. He's a good striker, but he doesn't have a lot of output. Um, Super tall. Obviously, he has the knockout power, but his takedown defense is super poor. I mean, we've seen it over and over again. Battle, if he, wants to wrestle him, he definitely can. Um, I think it'll be a lot of cage fighting and clinching, if anything, and Battle trying to wear out him a little bit. Uh, I just think it's going to be an output thing, and he's just going to win those rounds in numbers. So I'm going to take Brian Battle to win this one by a decision.
Yeah, man. We're actually gonna agree on this one as well. I just think he's the way better fighter. To be quite honest, I think he's more well-rounded from what we've seen. And even though he's shorter, he has the reach advantage. So having the reach advantage nullifies any height advantage whatsoever. So, I just really like him in this fight, man. Like the Kevin Jusay performance was great, beating his ass in Paris like that. The Angelus, that should be a win for him. So he really should be like 13-2. 13-2. The Renat Fakardinov loss, he took that on super duper short notice. They didn't get to train for in the slightest. If they rematch, he fucks him up. I have the utmost confidence in that. And yeah, he beat Randy Brown by the split. He didn't like it wasn't the best performance from Brian because he didn't miss weight. So that alone should let you know he might have had an underlying injury. It just really wasn't the best training camp going in there. It wasn't the full Brian Battle. Um, And I just think he's looked way fucking better than even on the Ultimate Fighter. I thought he looked good from day one. Like I really liked his story from day one. I feel like he did a good job separating himself. And it's not a script. He just went on to really win the show. He started out as any other fighter on the show. Brian Battle, Pooh Bear back then. And then the dudes started to weed themselves out, and he's the last man standing. Of course, Trayshawn Gore did get injured, but they went on to fight anyway, and he beat his ass. So, and now we know that Trayshawn Gore might be on the verge of getting cut from the UFC. So it really does go to show you, like, you see these dudes be in that reality TV setting, and you just see them in the UFC now. You're gonna see their dreams either rise or fall. And I think Brian has all the potential in the world. I don't know if he'll be a champion, but I do think he can be a ranked fighter. He's only 30 years old, so he's still improving. And now that hopefully he can just focus on middleweight and really just like hunker down and really aim towards those rankings in like the next year, try to get in there by 2027. I do think he's a ranking caliber fighter. If he wins this fight, I think he gets a ranked opponent. So I got Brian Bow to win this fight via decision. I think he'll be better anywhere the fight goes.
All
And
right.
it's also it is going to be a spectacle because he is fighting a pretty tall dude. So I am kind of interested to see how that goes. Most definitely. But yeah, going up the card, most definitely. On Edson Barboza versus Drakkar Close. So obviously for Edson Barboza, this guy's pretty much a fucking legend. Like, yeah, some of the craziest knockouts in UFC history. Some of the greatest body kicks, leg kicks, head kicks. He has it all. I think he has a finish by head, leg, and body kick. So it's just really, really rare. The fact he's still going at 39 years old is absolutely insane. It is the one thing I will say. At one point, he was 19-4. Now he's 24-12. You feel me? So like, it's a pretty like that's a crazy record. The last few years since 2017. The American top team staple. He's been in the UFC for a really long time, so he's fought way more competition than Drakkar Close. It just depends how he's going to keep making this weight at 39 years old. He'll be 39, pushing 40 in this fight. But Drakkar is only 37, so the age really doesn't matter in this fight. To be quite honest, I guess I'll be kind of short. I mean, like, I gotta give Jakar, his due. Only thing with Close is that I wish he just fought more. For his age, I think he's way too inactive than like he needs to be to really try to work towards the rankings and try to make a name for himself in the UFC. So for this, I think this is gonna play out on the feet. Drakkar is more of a grappler than he is a striker. I remember that power slam on Joe Select. He got 2 slam knockouts back to back on that card. It was pretty crazy. And for this, I just think Edson Barboza, I think he's gonna pick him apart. I do. Like, if he hasn't fallen off a cliff, I think he can pick him apart. Be way faster on the feet, stuff the takedowns. He has a great Darce choke if it hits the ground. I think he's gonna leave. I think he'll look good. He still wants to compete. He still feels good at 39 years old. So, and he's still shredded, absolutely shredded. Edson Barboza is. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I got Edson Barboza with a second round TKO.
All right. Shit, let's do it. Yeah, so this fight, I mean, both fighters are pretty old for MMA fighters. Um, but the experience, I think, is the separator in this fight. I just think Barbosa has faced the way better competition in this out of these two fighters. We know Drakkar Close can wrestle if he wants. He could grapple and pressure Barbosa, and that would be his advantage to win this fight. But I just think the power of Barbosa is going to overwhelm him. We saw in the last fight that Barbosa was able to rock Leron Murphy. Well, I don't know if that was his last fight, actually. Don't quote me. But we did see in that fight a good fighter in Leron Murphy. He was able to stun, I think twice. I think he rocked him on the feet, and I think in his guard when he was on his back. I think he upkicked him and he dropped
Mm-hmm.
him down into his guard. I think I remember that, and people thought he was out. They thought Murphy was out, but he just went into his guard. So I mean, he could still damage people at this age. I like Barbosa in this fight. Um, I would say by decision. I think he'll win by decision in this one.
Mm-hmm. Decision, okay. Word. I think he can finish on me. I think he'll be a little doughy
You think he
around
could
that.
push the pace to finish it? I mean, Jakar Close isn't a can. You know,
Not at all. Not
it's
at
gonna
all.
be a
This
tough
guy's
finish.
what? Like for sure. Like he's like what 15-3. Like he was just on a win streak. Like
He's
I
not the
just think,
greatest, but he's solid. You know.
especially after seeing Joel Alvarez finish him in his last fight, we're gonna see if his durability is still the same after that flying
Yeah.
knee. So we'll see though. It's a good fight. We've only agreed thus far, so
It's probably going to be a lot of agrees till maybe later on, and maybe I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you can't force it. You feel me? Like that's genuinely how I feel about these fucking fights. I really do think that Etienne's gonna beat this dude. Um, Pretty confident in that. To be quite real, not lock of the week or anything like that, but like, yeah, I think he could definitely get the victory for certain. You can start with the ladies in this one. I know Godinez has
No,
a
we got
pretty
the
big fan
boys
base.
first. We got Chase Hooper and Alexander
Oh
Hernandez
shit, my
first.
bad. I was looking at yours on the other half of my monitor. My fault.
Oh, good.
Um, you're right, most definitely. It is indeed Chase Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. Now, man, I'm actually kind of intrigued to talk about this fight. You can click on it if you want. Yeah, man. So with this fight in particular, like I just think that I'm gonna start with Chase. Like because it really is cool to really see his development in the UFC. I really see everything he's gone through from that Steve Garcia loss, getting fucked up on the feet. Like, I mean, blasted with those right hooks to moving up a division, learning from his losses like a martial artist does, and just continuing on. You feel me? Dudes have no idea how hard it is to have like a clean 16-3 record. Not everyone's going to be undefeated, you know? So, like, there's dudes on the regional scene who are 25, who are 29 and 15, trying to get a shot in the UFC. So those dudes you see with those over 500 ass records, those dudes are good fighters. Best believe it, you know? And with Chase Hooper, he's gotten way better on the feet. He's always been a great grappler. It's day one on Contender Series. He was a great grappler. At 18 years old, he came on the scene, and now he's getting way better with the hands. We saw him fuck up. We just saw Borshev on the feet, who's a proven striker. He gave him utmost problems, most definitely. Um, and like he didn't even have to submit him. I mean, I think he did choke him out, but he got him on the ground by dropping him on the feet. And I think that was a really big that's a point for Chase where I feel like he wanted to prove something because like everyone talks about how good of a striker Borshev is, and I think that he knows he could submit him in a moment. So he wanted to see and really assess his striking, and I think he's really improved. Honestly, from that performance, I think he's gotten so much better. And he's a completely different fighter than like that Steve Garcia shit. And with Alex Hernandez, I think his UFC is completely different if he doesn't fake that glove touch and sneak Neil Dariush. We know he went through a fair amount of adversity after that. So I guess you could say it's karma or whatever. I don't wish nothing bad on him, but I did think that was pretty disgusting when he faked that glove touch and knocked him out like that. And we saw that he was talking to Cowboy, and Cowboy went out there and he fucked him up. So he's a pretty decent fighter. You know, he's pretty explosive. But when he doesn't have an athleticism advantage, he really struggles a lot against his opponent. I think for this, I think Hooper's gonna be way bigger. Similar in athleticism. I think that Hooper can really implement his game plan more than Hernandez can. If Hernandez has to shoot and take him to the ground, he's getting guillotined. If he stands on the feet, I think it's pretty close on the feet, but I do think that Hooper can win the standing battle. He has the reach advantage by 2 inches, and he's bigger, and he knows how to use his reach. And he just looked better at 25 years old. He just looked way better. So almost a minus 300 favorite. Chase Hooper is. I was gonna go with a Hooper submission in the second round. Chase Hooper.
I like it. I'm definitely picking Chase Hooper in this one. Best believe. Hooper is one of the most high-level grapplers in the UFC. Um, Super explosive. I mean, he is just sharp. He attacks submissions. Usually attacks legs or he attacks from the back, and he's very crafty with his submissions, as we saw in the Jim Miller fight. First of all, his striking has improved a lot over his career now, so I think he could comfortably stand with Hernandez in this one. But when he is grappling, he's very unique. He doesn't go for basic submissions. He does like to transition into very cool stuff. I mean, we saw him in the electric chair. In 2 rounds in a row, he was going for the electric chair um, on Jim Miller in that last fight, which was really fun to watch. Yeah, he's a leg lock merchant for sure, you could say. Uh, but that's the modern era of jiu-jitsu now. Hernandez, he relies heavy on his hands at this point in his career. I would say right now is like the most well-rounded he's ever been because he definitely is able to wrestle. He likes to strike, so I would say he definitely fell in love with his striking for a little bit, but he does know how to wrestle, which is good. He's a well-rounded fighter, not the highest level, and I do think Chase Hooper is about a few levels above him. I'm definitely taking Chase Hooper to win this one by submission. Um, Dude, he's just really good. He's good everywhere. His striking needs the most improvement, obviously, to be the best fighter he can. Because the grappling department, he's proved. I mean, he's dominating black belts. You know, he's in grappling competitions, winning. He's really good, dude. And he's not like I said. He's not just some like basic dude who could only do traditional stuff. Like no, he's like the modern version of a fighter. Like he's doing all the fancy stuff you see on Instagram reels when you're scrolling. You get a jujitsu video and you're seeing
Right.
like a back take to a armbar to a omoplata, and he's doing that just flying through these kind of things, making it look easy. So I think he'll hit a fancy sub this weekend.
hmm Okay, nah, yeah, I do think he is one. I do think this would be one of the most entertaining fights on the entire card. This is just gonna be super explosive in the scrambles, and I really like seeing how dudes have to deal with height advantages. It's only 5'9" to 6'1", but Chase he's just super lanky, so he looks taller than he is. So, I'm excited, man. I think the UFC are still really high on Hooper. I am as well, and he has one of the coolest names, Chase the Dream Hooper. So, um. I think he can really go all the fucking way, man. And he would have benefited from being in the UFC super young, growing up, maturing, and being at a world class level by like 27. I think he's gonna be up there in the top 10. So I'm really excited for Chase Super, and people shouldn't be surprised if he can get the hands right and with the jujitsu, there aren't gonna be many better lightweights outstriking and outgrabbing him at all. So going into the next one, you can have the ladies, if you want, Nikki. Andrade versus Godin.
For sure. Dude, Andrade, I've been rocking with her for a little while, dude. Even like in these tough losses that she's been taking, I've been picking her. She's winning some, she's losing more than she's winning, which is unfortunate. But she's still there. Like she still looks like a good fighter. Her biggest
Mm-hmm.
problem now is that obviously everyone knows she doesn't have the best grappling skills. And I mean, I'm not saying that's okay. It happens, but it's the fact she's getting subbed so much. She's just getting subbed and finished, which is very annoying to see, and I feel bad because she's such a good striker and she's I would say she's elite, but you can't call someone elite with such a big hole in your game that's just forcing losses. But it is high level competition. It's all girls who have fought for the belt, had the belt, or are gonna fight for the belt. So there's the
Yep.
benefit of the doubt there. Um, Loopy, she does have grappling skills, which is like, oh fuck, right? But Loopy, she doesn't have good control at all. She's good. She could transition and stuff and get where she wants, but she can't hold anyone there that well. And I think that's one of her biggest flaws right now in her grappling game. Um, these girls are gonna be very similar in size. They're gonna be meeting. I think this is at strawweight, right? Yep, this is
Mm-hmm.
at strawweight, so they're going to be meeting. They're going to be
115.
similar in size. No one's going to, Jessica's not going to have a bigger opponent than her in this one. Um, but I don't expect Lupi to maul Jessica Andrade in the grappling department. So I think Jessica will be able to get back to her feet. Hopefully she doesn't get subbed so quick. That's like the only way I could see her losing is if they get into a grappling exchange and Lupi hops on the back or something, or however. That's the way I could see Lupi winning, but I'm going to take Andrade to win this one. I think on the feet there's going to be a major difference, and Andrade should be able to win. I didn't pick an outcome, so I'll call it a decision because I like Lupi. I don't want to see her get knocked out.
Mm-hmm. So you got Lupi via
No,
decision.
no, no. I got Andrade via decision. I don't want to see Lupi
Andrade.
get knocked out.
I'm dead. Yeah, I mean, Because on paper, this is a big step down for Andrade, for Jessica, compared to who she's been fighting. Like Jasmine, like like she's fighting just a way bigger fucking girl in that fight. Because I get it, it's getting harder to cut that weight at 115, but she went back down. She lost to what will probably be a champion in Natalia Silva and a title challenger in Jasmine Jastovicius. So, I do think that she can get this fight done. I still think she's she's only 33 years old, man. Like, and her birthday's in September, so she's about to be 34, so she's knocking on the door. But I don't think she retires anytime soon. She's a future Hall of Famer, a former champion, and yeah, I do think she can knock her out. So I was gonna go with a Jessica Andrade knockout. In round one, honestly.
Oh shit.
Round one. I think it's gonna be an explosive fight. Lupi either makes her tired, takes over in round one, and takes it in round three, or just the KOs her in the first round when she's super fresh and like at her most optimal. So that's what I think is gonna happen, to be quite honest. But yeah, man, going to the next. Were you gonna say
all you? No. I just burped.
All right,
Excuse me. I have nothing on this fight. This fight just got put on today on Tapology. If this is the guy from Contender Series, then yeah, I know he called up. He wanted to fight on 4-day notice. If it's not, I have no clue who these guys are. Eric Nolan is. I don't know. That's not.
he just got signed?
Tim Nolan, right? Wasn't there Tim Nolan, the guy that fought with Wonder Boy?
Tom Nolan.
Tom Nolan, the guy that he trained with Wonder Boy or something, right? Yeah. So I don't know either of these guys.
Yeah, man. Like, so for this one, like, obviously this is pretty fucking crazy. This guy was just fighting last night, and now this man's fighting on Saturday. He might have Hamzat fucking beat, man. That's like what? Like nine something hours from one fight to the next. That's pretty crazy. When he finished in what? Like
it didn't Hamzat fight like 3 times in like 13 days?
The first two fights were like 2 weeks apart. So like when he fought John Phillips and he fought Reese McKee, because they were on Fight Island, and both fights were on Fight Island. So he fought him like it was like 2 weeks apart or something like that. And like that was crazy back then. So the fact that guys literally, and I mean literally, about to turn around this soon is pretty fucking insane. I thought Dana was bull. I thought he was saying. I thought that meant like Paris, UFC Paris, in September. Nah, he meant this fucking Saturday. We need that guy to fight, and they're not giving him a lab. Eric Nolan. This guy's a regional scene champion. He just won his title, vacated it the moment they called him. At his losses already in his career. He got beat by Ty Miller, who also got a contract last night. And he lost to Blaine Richards by naked choke, and he lost a split to Alonzo Turner, who's an undefeated fighter, and he's 7-2 now. So he has lost. I don't want to say mediocre, but just really regional scene competition. Honestly, just regional scene. So for this, he has not been KO'd. He's been submitted one time in his career, so we know he's pretty durable. And he's fighting a guy who's pretty fucking ferocious on the feet. I'm not gonna lie. This guy's pretty crazy. Beisonger Sursurkayev. This guy can't speak English from what I saw. He's pretty big. This fight isn't 185. He's 24 years old, 6'2", with damn near 80-inch reach. So damn near that Pereira build, that Israel Adesanya build, that 80-inch reach, like a 6'3" fighter, It's just like the prototype. It's the prototype for middleweights nowadays, and like it's pretty crazy to really see that, honestly. But just like the evolution, really. Like you don't see middleweights below like 6 foot. Robert Whitaker is like the exception at 6 foot tall. That's because he's shredded at that weight class. He used to fight at 170, but Robert couldn't do that shit anymore. Like, and going into this one, like Sursurkayev, this guy has /2 wins came by way of KO. He is undefeated. He has not lost. Most of his wins have came by finish, literally by finish. He's only gone to decision one time. So this guy's pretty big of a. He's pretty much a fucking monster, bro. Like, he was destroying people in ACA, absolute championship mod. And he looked great on Contender Series last night with the body kick in the first round. So really, like, just honestly shut the engine off on Murtaza Talha. Yeah, man. So I think this guy's going to come out here with a bang. I think they like him. If he wins this Saturday, it can be a star-making performance at such a young age for him. Turning around this quick and getting a win like this, it'll just leave such a massive first impression in the UFC. Fighting on the prelims, like the ESPN prelims on his debut. So he's not even on the early prelims. So they're definitely excited for this guy. He's on here with other veterans. Like, he's fighting after Jessica Andrade, like a dude in his fucking debut. So I am excited to see how this goes. But who do you have? I got Chimaev. Honestly, by round KO. I don't think it'll be like the first one. I think Nolan's pretty durable. He's never been KO'd. So I think for this fight, I think it's going to be a second round KO for Sursurkayev.
Yeah, I'll also take Sursurkayev. I was actually just
The restroom.
and I saw a picture of him and Shavkat and Imavov. If that even loads, I just saw a picture of the three of them, which is pretty cool. Yeah, dude. Like I said, I didn't get to watch Contender Series. I was at the gym last night, so I have nothing on that one. But I'll also take the undefeated boy, as Willis was saying. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I got nothing. Sorry about that. I got nothing, guys. We could move on to the next fight. We got Gerald Meerschaert, GM3, versus Michael Oliks. I could never pronounce it. Olik Shishkuk, maybe something like that. Little blurry camera. For this fight, this one's going to be very interesting because this is a clash of styles. We have a grappler-based fighter versus a very boxing-oriented fighter. In this one, I did like Meerschaert. I was leaning to him a little bit more. GM3 does have the most middleweight subs in UFC history. He doesn't have a striking threat at all, so I don't think he's going to have an answer from Michael on the feet. But he is pretty gritty, so he's going to be hard to be put out. I do think Michael has all the potential to knock him out. He is very good at boxing. He is very good striking. He's a hard hitter. He just had a very good performance in his last one against Dumas, right? I think it was Cedric Dumas he fought. Let me make sure. Yeah, Cedric Dumas in the last one. He had a very good performance. Not the highest level competition, but it was a very impressive win for him. So obviously we know he has the advantage striking, while GM3 does have the grappling advantage. I think he's gonna have to knock out GM3 early for him to win this fight. Otherwise, I think this is gonna get dragged on, and in the second and third round, GM3 is gonna be able to just impose his grit onto him, and he would either win by a late sub, which I'm gonna pick a round 3 sub, or a decision. But I'm gonna be taking GM3 for a round 3 sub. Let's fix the camera.
We're agreeing again, because I do think that Gerald is a pretty good stand-up fighter, and I think he'll be able to stand up with Mikau until he's able to get the fight to the ground. He is the bigger fighter in this matchup. Is 6'1" to 6 foot, so not too much, but he does almost have a 4-inch reach advantage. He's lost his last 2 fights. I get it. But I just think that look who he's losing to: Rainer de Ritter and Brad Tavares. I think Brad Tavares could give Michael Oleksiejczuk some problems, given how well-rounded Tavares is and how veteran savvy he is. So it's a close one. Michael Oleksiejczuk, he is fighting out of Sao Paulo now. He is training with the fighting nerd. So obviously they have done him a massive justice in helping him improve. And I do think that they're gonna have a great camp down there. They're all training right now. Like Protest fights on this card. Bahayo fights in Paris, and then Gene Silva fights the weekend after him in Vegas. So they're all
and Rufi
training.
fights in Paris.
Yes, he do. Yeah, in the co-main.
And Kareem Silva is also a fighting nerd, I'm pretty sure.
So it's like the fact like all of them it really does show you like the rise that the gym has had. And then like I'm honestly excited to see what they're gonna do heading into 2026 with this new Paramount deal. All of them are making their way to pay-per-views. You got Ruth in Paris on the co-main, but I think that's to get him on the pay-per-views after that fight. And they really want to make him a main event fighter, to be real. I think he was supposed to be like the UFC Sao Paulo main event, but I don't think they could have got that done. It would have been cool to see Kyle Bahayo be that main event, but I think he relishes going into enemy territory, and we will break that fight down. So I'm not spoil that pick, but I am very really high on the natural. That is all I say. And yeah, man, I got GM3, way better comp, way more experience, and I think with the jiu-jitsu, I think if it hits the ground, if it's on top, I think he can work his magic and not get knocked out, man. So I got GM3 to get the fight via submission in round 2. Kind of like Kevin
All right.
Holland did, maybe break his arm, snatch up a leg or something like that. For real. And going into the next one, King Green versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. Start out with Bobby. So Bobby, obviously, I mean, it's fucked up, man. Like to really see how like where he's at in the span of like 2 to 3 years. Like even starting from like the Jalen Turner shit back in 2000. Fuck that. The Drew Dober shit. Like we could sit there on December 17th, 2022. He fought Drew Dober in a 3-round bout on the main card of a UFC fight night in the Apex, where he was looking great in the first round. This all happened in round 2. He was looking absolutely phenomenal, jabbing him up, like ducking everything. He just looked fucking great. You feel me? But then it got to the point where Drew weathered the storm, pushed him back, and clubbed him with a left hand that sent him to the shadow realm, to be real. So after that, I forgot he fought Tony Ferguson. So he fought Tony Ferguson. That was what it was. He beat him. He choked him
Arguably
out.
lost. I poked him, but
Yeah,
all
he
right.
did. I
All
forgot
right.
about that.
We don't have to talk
And
about that because Tony was supposed to lose, right, guys? Because Tony
he's fighting
totally
so
wasn't
much.
winning that fight till he got eye poked.
I mean, man, it was pretty close for sure. But the fact he was going toe to toe with Tony, 2023 Tony, really shows you like he was kind of like. I mean, I can't say toe to toe because he did finish him, but you are right though. Like, yeah, he went through some unconventional means to get that finish. I'm not saying he cheated or anything, but still, it just wasn't like the cleanest fight. And knocked out Grant Dawson in 30 seconds after
Yeah.
that. So he was on top of the fucking world. He was in the rankings and everything, even after the Dober knockout. So going forward, I mean, they were gonna match him up with Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker right here in the
That would have been
canceled
brutal.
bouts. Yeah, bro. The shit he broke. He had an arm injury. They were going to fight. It was going to be Hooker versus Green. That's crazy. Yeah, because that's why Jalen fucking Turner has stepped in. That was why that happened, yo. And yeah, because that was when he lost to Jalen Turner, and like Kerry Hatley did not stop the fight. It was just terrible
Yeah, that was on that
leftover.
fight night down south, right? Fight night, or was that?
It was in
Was it
the
Kentucky?
UFC Austin.
Austin?
It
Okay,
was when
it was
Beneil
Austin.
Dariush fought Armin Sarukian.
Okay, I remember that week. I was watching the embeddeds. Like Bobby Green was walking around with his cowboy hat and everything. I remember that week. That was a good one.
And then like, yeah, man. And then Jim Miller, he beats him at UFC 300. The fact that he even put him on that card lets you know how much they like Bobby Green, most definitely. Um, and then from then on there, man, like we're here now. Like he got submitted by Paddy Pimblett out in London at UFC 304. But I mean, I think he was underestimating him. He didn't really approach the fight the way he should have with his hands down and shit. And then his last fight, wheel kick knockout by Mauricio Rufy. Like they already have shirts of it and shit like that. It was really fucked up to see that. See, like again, his hands were down, no defense whatsoever, and like it just sent him to the shadow realm. And it's terrible damage with a kick upside the temple. He's a great fighter, assessing his skill set. He still has great boxing. He's really fast with his feet. I mean, fast on the feet. He has a great anti-wrestling. He's a great Has a great sprawl. Can get some takedowns here and there. Bobby can wrestle here and there, most definitely. But Carlos Diego Ferreira, this guy's 19-6. Outside of being inactive, he's been fairly consistent in his UFC career. He is 10-6. Um, but he has wins over Mateusz Rebecki. He finished him. He has a win. He has knocked out Michael Johnson. That win looks great right now. He just got controlled by Grant Dawson, and he lost. And he got ground and pounded by Mateusz Gamrot, and that was back in 2021. So you can't take too much away from that. He took a 2-year layoff after that. So he came back rejuvenated with the win over Michael Johnson and Mateusz Rebecki. And he lost to Grant Dawson, who's a good fighter, you know. So I think Carlos Diego Ferreira is in a better spot than King Green is right now. Even at 40, I think CF is low-key in a better spot right now. As much as it pains me to say, I just think that, I mean, like, look at their records. Carlos is 19-6, while Bobby is 32-17. So that's a lot of fucking fights, man. That's a lot of damage, winning and losing. It does not matter. So for me, I was gonna go with Carlos Diego Ferreira, man. He's an older fighter, but I think that he's taking way less damage, way less attrition, and I think he's still somewhat in his prime, right? Not in his prime, but it's looking better. So I was gonna go with Carlos Diego Ferreira, to take us into the pay-per-view main card. Who are you
All right.
picking?
See, now this one's interesting. I mean, because like you know what you get with Bobby. I mean, like again, these are two older fighters. Bobby has taken some rough losses. He's taken a lot of damage at this age now, due to his recent few performances. He's gotten put out cold, out from consciousness a few times now. But man, just over a year ago, he put on an amazing ass whooping. I'm sorry to Jim Miller, but he put on an ass whooping to Jim Miller. That was like prime what Bobby does. Like
Yep.
you know what you get out of him. You know, you live by the same sword you die by. He's never gonna put his hands up. He's gonna talk to you the whole fight. I mean, he was talking to Patty, he was talking to Jalen before they both put him out. But he does the same thing. Win or lose, he's gonna talk to you. The thing about the Patty fight, he shot for that takedown. No one knows why he did it to this day. He must not have been confident in being on the feet with
You're
Patty.
telling me like it was paid off to just dive into geese.
No,
Like,
but like
no.
even so, you know, like I said, you live by the same sword you die by, and he just put on a great performance just over a year ago. So I wouldn't say he's completely, you know, no one would have thought he would have bounced back from that Jalen Turner knockout, and he did, and he had an amazing performance. Um,
Yes, you do.
Ferrer is a very well-rounded fighter, and he could finish it in multiple ways, so it is scary. Um, I just see the Bobby's like one of those dudes who's just when you count him out, that's when he's gonna put on. That's when he'll finish it in the first round, you know. And then when you think he's gonna win, that's when he's gonna get put out. So for me, I'm gonna take Bobby Green in this one because
Woo!
I feel like he could do it, dude. Like he's taking the damage, and that makes him who he is because he's never fought with his hands up. You know what you get. You know what you get when you sign up with him. I think he's gonna talk his shit. It just depends how sharp he is, dude. Did he have a good training camp or not? Because maybe in that Pimblett fight, he just didn't have a good training camp as he was. He wasn't as sharp. He wasn't on time. And when he was trying to, move his head, he was just getting clipped and he wasn't moving fast enough. So hopefully he had a good training camp. Hopefully he recovered enough since his last spinning wheel kick knockout, which is bad. Um, but he didn't take a lot of damage in that fight, right? He got knocked out, but he wasn't getting butchered, which is nice. That's the worst than anything. I mean, getting knocked out is bad, but getting butchered is just terrible to see. I'm glad we didn't really see that from Bobby, besides the Jalen Turner situation that we don't talk about on this channel anymore. That was horrible. So I'm gonna take Bobby Green to win this one. I don't have a method. Probably I'll go with decision. I'll say let's see another Jim Miller performance and just Bobby Green belt to ass,
Belts
Let's
like
see
that.
some belt to fucking
Nah,
ass again. I like Bobby. He talks a lot of shit, but when he's on, it's fun to watch.
no, yeah, he's a
See
great
a dude
martial
walking up to you
artist.
like this, and he's talking shit. Ooh, ooh, and he's just talk like this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Up, like, come on, bro. That's fun to watch. It's stupid, but it's fun.
It's scary, man. Like we're gonna see, yo. Like we'll know for sure Bobby's truly declining or not. They got him right below the pay-per-view. He's still on a numbered event. They still very much love Bobby King Green. So we're gonna see what happens, man. I don't think they cut him, regardless of whatever. They definitely don't cut Bobby. They really like Bobby for certain. Um, And moving on to the pay-per-view, don't forget, y'all, to please like, comment, and subscribe. From here on out, Nikki, you can click on the fights. Yeah, just like that, my boy. Because we're at the real shit now, like I always like to say. Um, every fucking fight on this shit has like a storyline to it, bro. Starting out with one of the former Rise and flyweight champion trying to rebound from what was, I don't want to say it was an embarrassing performance in his first fight, but he came out the gate and challenged for the flyweight title. In what round did Pantoja finish him in? It was like round
It was
two, round
second,
three.
right?
It was in the second round. He
I think it
submitted
was
this
the
thing in the
second.
second round, bro.
Yeah.
Like on December 7th, 2024 at UFC 310. I actually enjoyed that card a lot. I thought it was a pretty cool card, a good poster too. Really enjoyed that card actually. It was pretty cool. Um, it was cool to see Pantoja get like that main event spot. That was fire. And yeah, man. So for Asakura, like given his career in Rising, we know he's a great striker. Like we know he's a decent grappler, not the best. He only has 3 wins via submission out of 21 wins, and 13 of his 20, 13 of his 21 wins come by way of knockout. But and he has 5 wins via decision. So he is a high level striker. Not the craziest grappler, but really just prefers to strike. That's just his bread and butter, you know. And I think he just had a really bad matchup in his UFC debut versus literally one of the greatest flyweights to ever put on MMA gloves. And I think for right now, it was like that was in December. He took off. He hasn't fought in a while. He took off the whole summer, everything. He didn't come back till next August because he knows like that was definitely like a little bit of like it definitely probably hurt his ego a little bit for sure. He felt like he had to go back to the drawing board, and we're giving him another ranked opponent in his second fight. They're obviously paying a lot for Kaya Sakura. I don't doubt it for a second how much they're paying this dude. And yeah, man, like he's fighting Chimaev, the former Ultimate Fighter winner. Hella tough alumni on this card. It's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. He's 9-11. He's 9-11 inside the UFC, but a lot of that does come with context. He has wins over, you know, shit, man. I'm looking at his wins. They're really not the best as of right now. The best one is probably like Tagir Ulanbekov, but like he was grabbing his glove and shit in that fight. I remember that. That's where the meme came from when Khabib was like screaming and stuff like that. When like that's the fight that shit came from. I watched that shit live. And he submitted Sumo Darji, which was a great win looking back on it, the way he got an arm triangle in the first round. But we know how big of a weakness Sumo Darji has on the ground. Like I'm really still really high on Sumo Darji. It's just literally the ground game holding him back. And he was doing good against Muhammad Mokaya before he got triangle choked. In round 3, he was actually close to beating Muhammad Mokayev. He looked really good in that fight. And yeah, he's coming off a win, so UFC caliber, you could definitely say. Like I said, it's had some hard losses against Davis Figueiredo, Askar Askarov, Brandon Royval, Ben Nguyen, Demetrius Johnson, who he almost submitted in the first round. That was a crazy fight. Looking back on it, super duper crazy fight. And yeah, man, like I just think for this fight, I do think that Tim Elliott, he has taken a lot of damage. He's only lost via KO one time, but I just think it's a lot of like, it's just he's lost to some dudes. He's not beating the best competition, to be quite honest. This is a close fight, but I do think that Kaya Sakura can piece him up on the feet and stuff the takedown. So I was going to go with Kaya Sakura on the fight via decision. I don't think he's knocking out Tim Elliott.
All right. For me, uh, dude, I got Kaya Sakura winning by knockout. I have to disagree. I think he's gonna win by knockout. Tim Elliott hasn't fought in 2 years now. 1 year, 8 months. I don't know why, but I just think he's bound to get hurt on the feet, dude. You know what Tim Elliott is? He's very wrestling heavy dude. Kaya Sakura is a very dangerous, very strong 125 fighter. Um, I think the biggest thing in this fight is just how good Kaya Sakura's takedown defense is going to be. I mean, you can't judge him as a fighter based off the Pantoja fight, because how do you think Tim Elliott would look in the Pantoja fight? It's just like Pantoja's beating anyone, anyway, however he wants. Um,
Right.
and Kaya scores first, and I don't even know if Kaya Score ever fought in a cage before that, right? Wasn't he ring fighting? That's very
In a
different in my.
ring.
It's
In a ring. Yep.
very different kind of MMA. I think Kaya Score is very dangerous. Tim Elliott is 38 years old, almost 39.
In the
Um,
flyweight division.
yeah, dude, Kaya, he's gonna have to cross a distance on Kai too. I mean, Kai has dangerous knees, very dangerous knees, elbows, all that. I mean, that's his game. Like he's a dangerous fighter. I think we're gonna see what he really looks like in this fight. I think he'll win by a knockout. I think he's good, dude. I thought he was good. I didn't pick him against Pantoja because you'd have to be a madman to. But I do think he's a high level guy. I think he's definitely top five. You put him against any top five fighter, and he's gonna really compete well. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna take Kaya Score to win this one by a knockout.
Okay, bet. Hey man, hey, dare to dream, you feel me? Moving on up the card, of course. The actual pay-per-view. You can have this second one, Nikki. Go ahead. It's gonna banger.
This is an interesting one because we were talking
Very.
about it at the gym all night. I kept bringing it up. Uh, dude, like I at first on paper I was like, yo, stay away from MVP. That's a dangerous pick in this fight. Um, First of all, both fighters are super dangerous. They're both aware of each other's dangers. We know Jared Cannonier is the way more well-rounded fighter. He's very old, dude. Dude, like 41 and a half, pushing
Doesn't look like it.
42. He
A
doesn't. He
black
still
don't crack,
looks good.
baby.
He still does look good, but it's gonna catch up. Father time comes for everyone. MVP is pretty old too, 38. He's very fast twitch, so it doesn't show as much. Um, you know what you're going to get out of MVP. He's very flashy. He's a showman at the end of the day. He's There's no grappling in his game. Ian Gary exposed him. So Ian Gary set the blueprint of how to beat him. Jared Cannonier can very well do the same exact things Ian Gary does. A lot of calf kicks, a lot of stick and moving, and land power shots when you can. That's something Jared Cannonier can do. And mix in wrestling, of course. Will Jared Cannonier wrestle? That's like the big thing that everyone's wondering in this fight because he has the skill to. My thing is with this fight, you look back at the Jared Cannonier and Israel Adesanya fight. Jared Cannonier wasn't able to land much in that fight because he had to close that distance of someone who fights very long. MVP sits there, looks you in the eye, and waits for you to close distance so he could throw a side kick, so he could jab you in the face. He fights long. He fights in a long guard, and his hands are down, but it's very deceiving because we saw Shara Bullet wasn't able to do anything about it in that fight. Um, Dude, it's hard because Jared Kinnear has a lot better experience. He's stuck around that top. I know he's 10 now, ranked 10. He's stuck around that top five for a long time with a lot of good middleweights at the time. Like I said, is Jared Cannonier going to wrestle in this fight? Me personally, I think I think there's a higher chance that MVP puts on a striking masterclass. I know that's like, damn, what the fuck? I think it's more likely he puts on one of these striking masterclasses. Then we see a well-rounded Jared Cannonier wrestling calf kick, like an Ian Gary type of performance out of Jared. I think Jared's gonna get stumbled by it. It's gonna be very annoying. We've seen that kind of adversity, how it pushes Jared, and I know his experience, but we've seen how he reacts to that kind of experience, and he's just trying to cross distance and land big, and it's hard, and you're gonna get countered, and you're gonna get hurt, and we've seen him get rocked recently, Jared Cannonier, a few times. So
By the Bahio fight.
I think I'm going to be taking MVP to win this one by a knockout or a decision. I'm leaning
Sick.
towards an MVP knockout.
It's funny you say that because I got Jared Cannonier by way of a KO this fight. Um, I think it's gonna be in round two. I think he's gonna adjust from what he does in the first round, and really go for the KO in the second to be way more aggressive. It's coming from MMA Lab. You know, I'm pretty high on the gym. I do think they're pretty good. Um, he does have to reach disadvantage in this fight. He does have to close the distance, and Jarrett's a really cerebral fighter. I don't think he's gonna just let him sit out there and try to pick him apart like that. I think Jarrett can get this fight done. I do think he can get the KO. We have seen MVP KO'd before, and this is the most dangerous striker he's ever faced in his entire career. So we'll see what happens, man. But I do think it will be a close fight. I think Jared Kaner can get the fight down with the second round KO.
I respect it. Yeah, it just comes down to, is he gonna wrestle or not? Because if he doesn't wrestle, he's making his job harder.
Harder than it needs to be. I agree. You know, mix it up, give him the threat of the takedown, and make him a little bit more hesitant. Start, you know, letting his hands go or his feet go, and that's it. You know, for sure. I
My
get it.
thing is, like, this is just like a do not bet. It's just such a trap here that MVP's a
Not at all.
favorite. And like my friend, I remember we used to play 2K with that guy Matt. He sent me his ticket and he was like, send the card and he had MVP. And I'm like, I like your picks. Like, you know, I'm not gonna spoil any other picks that I made, but it's like I like your picks. I'm like, dude, just be careful with MVP. Like for me, you see the odds. I think it's like a 60-40 because I do think MVP is gonna win, but it's not 50-50. Like I think MVP is going to win, but it's not like anything more than that just cuz like it's so risky to pick him cuz he could just get just like nothing that he does will work. Like he could put his face out here and get jabbed in the face every time, and he tries to. Oh, now he has to fight back a little bit, and then Jared's able to close distance. It could go very south for MVP very quick. I mean, like 45 seconds into the fight, and he could be like, "Oh fuck, I can't do this with this guy," and then he's gonna have to fight a different style, and he tries to back up, and so. It's risky. It's a risky fight to bet on, in my opinion. I think that's the trap of the card.
No, I agree for sure. It's a really, really close one. Probably like one of the closest fight on the card, damn near. Going at the feature out of the evening, the one that's supposed to take us into the best two fights of the night. Got another storyline. This fight was rebooked. They were supposed to fight originally. They pulled Carlos Prates to hit the headline. I forgot where that fight was at
That
when he
was
fought
Vegas, was it?
Ian Gary.
Let's see. I
'Cause I
thought it
know
was
that
in
was in an
Vegas.
arena.
UFC Fight Night. Uh,
It was in an arena.
T-Mobile Center. Yeah. Oh no, that was Kansas City.
Yeah, yeah. It was like you said, yeah, the
Ah,
Kansas City main event. Right. KC. He's coming back from that, trying to bounce back. Oh, he almost got Ian Gary out of there in the 5th round. I
he
picked
did.
Ian Gary to win that fight. So, still high on Protest, still a great fighter. I think Ian's a future champion. So for this fight in particular, on the feet, this is pretty fucking close. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like even Jeff Neal himself said it's not gonna go past the first round. This fight's pretty fuck close, man. I do feel like Jeff Neal can also win this fucking fight too. Like it really just depends on the exchange on the feet. He is 34 years old now, Jeff Neal, so he is getting up there in age. Um, Prades has a 3-inch reach advantage, and I only mention it because he knows how to use it. Some fighters don't know how to use it. He's still a great fighter, man. Like really showing the power with that KO over Neil Magny. That win looks great now. Seeing what Neil Magny just did a couple weekends ago. And yeah, man, like Jeff hasn't gotten a real win in almost since in 3 years. His last real win was over Vicente Luque. Part of that is him not fighting like that, but a part of it is him, also losing to Shavkat. Ian Gary literally lost to two of the best welterweights in the world right now. So you can't really take that away from him. And he was going toe to toe with Shavkat until he got submitted in the 3rd round. That was a really close fight. I was there
Yeah.
in that audience at UFC 285. That shit was pretty fucking insane. I still got that shirt. And yeah, man, like he got a win over RDA. It was a KO leg injury. That's why we haven't seen Rafael in a little while. But for this fight, man, it is pretty close. I guess I'll really just go who I feel has more momentum right now, and I think that's Carlos Prates for certain. He almost got Ian Gary out of there in the 5th round. He looked really good. I thought Ian was piecing him up until then, but I think that was just Ian being Ian. And it showed that Carlos was still in the fight. He was still dangerous. Came in round 5. So if that's him in round 5, round 1, Carlos is like, so I do think Carlos can most definitely get the KO here. And I don't think it's going past the first round, man. I think it's going to be a first round knockout, man. I do.
Damn. See, I'm also picking Carlos Prates in this fight. I think this is gonna be a nail biter until the 3rd round late. I think this goes very similar to the Shavkat fight. It's gonna be a lot of the same thing. It's gonna be a lot of exchanging in this fight. We know Prates is a super elite Muay Thai fighter, one of the better Muay Thai fighters in the UFC. He's coming off a great 5-round fight with Ian Gary, someone as high level as Ian Gary, and he was able to challenge him in that fight and give him very good reads and show Ian Gary things he hasn't seen before. Prates has super dangerous power. To beat him, you have to, like we just said with the how Ian Gary exposed the how Ian Gary exposed how to beat MVP, he also exposed how to beat Prates in this fight. You have to grapple him. You have to move a lot in this fight. You have to move a lot to beat Carlos Prates. You have to avoid the heavy shots, the head kicks, the hooks. You have to avoid them. You just have to move, and then you have to cage fight or grapple, one or the other. You have to cage fight him or you have to grapple him. Cage fighting is risky because he is good on the cage. We saw what he did to the Leech in that fight. That was the finishing sequence did end on the cage. Neil obviously has very heavy hands. He has some of the, hands of steel type shit. That's a great nickname. But he has really strong hands himself. But he's gonna have to close distance in this fight if he wants to do some serious damage, and he's gonna have to do that often to Prates. I think he is gonna be exchanging a lot. There is going to be openings, and he doesn't have a reach advantage, but he strikes very long. I can't really explain it, but he closes a lot of distance with his strikes. Like his cross, it's a pretty long cross, and he was landing it on Shavkat. Like he doesn't have that reach advantage. It must be his rotation, how he like leans into it a little bit. But his hands they land a lot. I think this one goes right to the 3rd round, and it's either going to be a Prates late knockout or a Prates decision. I do think a Prates decision only because I think that Ian Gary fight did change him a lot. My biggest thing with him, like, I wish he would stop smoking cigarettes and like flex that he smokes cigarettes. I know he said like, oh, when I get hungry, a cigarette's better for the weight cut. Sure, but like I want to see him take this serious, and I know like he's obviously in a way better situation than me. I'm not to knock it, right? But like to be the highest level, you have to be disciplined, and I do think smoking cigarettes is going to catch up to him at 31 years old. It's going to catch up to you. You're going to have to start taking more 5-round fights. I can't see that being something that's just going to his body's just going to be okay with forever. It's just weird
Right.
to me. I don't know. That's my biggest gripe with him. But I do think that Ian Gary fight changed him, and he even said himself that he's going to do what he needs to do to win fights. So if that's, putting someone against the cage and controlling them and spending a little time like that, or maybe even showing us some jiu-jitsu. Maybe he has some jiu-jitsu. I wouldn't put it past them because he trains with someone that's as good as Jean Silva and fucking Kyle Barala. I think he's going to have good jiu-jitsu if he trains it a lot. So he could even show us something there. I like this fight going over 2.5 rounds if you're going to bet something. 3rd round finish for Prates or a decision, I'm calling.
Okay. Either way, I do think it's going to be a really, really, really fun fight. It's going to be a banger. It's a banger of the main card. This is a banger. Two dudes who are going to strike, really strike. No one's going to go for a takedown. So it really, like they know exactly what they're doing in this matchup, and I'm really happy they rebooked it. And here it is. It's about to happen now. Just like that. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening. This fight has had MMA Twitter in a chokehold the last couple of weeks. Yeah, man, like it's like, yo, Aaron Pico's a great fighter, like skill wise. He has great boxing, great wrestling. Like, there's really not much he can't do. Like, he has good jujitsu. It's just really his competition, man. He was in cans over in Bellator, and that's really a part of being in Bellator. They're giving him an aura around just beating dudes who wouldn't even be top 15 in the UFC, top 20, like, and I think right now he's fighting the literal best fighter he's ever faced in his entire career. I think it's very disrespectful for Topology to have Lerone Murphy as the number 11th ranked featherweight being undefeated in the people he has wins over. I just think it's extremely disrespectful. You can't talk about finishes this and that when Mobstar isn't finishing fucking shit. So I think it's kind of unfair to have Lerone ranked that low, but I'll keep that to myself, I guess. Um, He's a good fighter, man. He's always been a solid fighter. Just people want him to be more active. I think he's always been good, good striking, good grappling, really well rounded. He's 34 years old, but he's moving real fast and stuff in the featherweight. So I think his age is subjective. You could say he's in his prime right now, 34 to 35 years old. At least he would say he's in his prime, most definitely. And and yeah, man, I think he's just super polished. I think he's super polished no matter where the fight goes. I think he'll be prepared with the striking, the grappling. He'll stuff the takedowns. He's used to getting ready for grapplers. We saw him with the flying knee KO over Makwan and Mirakani. He is the betting underdog going into this fight, which is pretty crazy. He's fought the way better niggas, to be real. I truly can't believe he's the underdog, to be honest. But like I said, he was a great boxer. I think he's the better wrestler, but I don't think he's the better striker. I think that Lerone Murphy's going to be like better on the feet in terms of like mixing in the strikes with the kickboxing. This is a close fight. It's super close. The betting odds do indicate so, but I think that Lerone Murphy's edge, the UFC competition, is going to help get the victory here. And we've seen Aaron Pico lose before. You know, it wouldn't be some crazy thing. It's different to be if he's undefeated, but we have seen him KO'd. Granted, that's when he was 21, 22. I don't just throw that out there on some lazy stuff. He's a completely different fighter now than he was back then. And we're gonna see, man. That's what this fight is for. He's ranked fucking Lerone Murphy's ranked 11 on here, but in the real UFC rankings, he is ranked number 6. So Pico could come here and be one fight away from a title shot off the rip. So we'll see what happens. We know he was going to fight Movsar Evloev. That's how high they are on Pico. They don't want him to have a dude outside of the top 6, top 5. So I got Lerone Murphy to win this fight via decision. I think he'll stuff the takedowns anywhere the fight goes. He'll pick him up on the feet with the hands and like the kickboxing. And it's the takedowns for me. I think he'll be more athletic. He'll be able to stuff the takedowns and keep it on the feet, jab him up. I think it's going to be a war. The boxing exchanges are going to be extremely interesting. I will say that.
All right, dude. Um, it's been pretty hard to guess whether these Bellator guys and whoever comes into the UFC from other organizations where they're champions, if they could come in and really be high level right away. Because the UFC hasn't been giving any easy fights for these guys. I mean,
Not a
uh,
single one.
no, it just hasn't been easy fights. They're getting high level competition. They're not giving them cans to come in. Um, so they're gonna have to come in and make a statement if they really want to be who they want to be in the UFC and who they were outside of the UFC. So I mean, Pico is known to have high level wrestling. Like I'm just gonna like off the general statements because that's all we could do. We can't like be like, oh, he was doing this and this and he was doing this sequence out. It's different, bro. We've seen multiple times. It's different in the UFC, and that's why the
Let's see.
UFC is the UFC. Leron Murphy, I mean, he's proven at the highest level of this division that he's meant to be there. He's meant to be at top 6, then he's meant to be top 6. He's seen all these different looks of fighters. He's seen jiu-jitsu guys. He's seen brawlers. He's seen heavy hitters, and he's
Just
overcome it.
beat Josh Emmett.
He's
Just
overcome
beat
it.
Josh Emmett.
He beat Josh Emmett. He beat Barbosa. He beat 2 Brazilian grapplers back early on his come up. I saw he's shown it. Like he avoids taking big hits. He avoids getting knocked out. He avoids getting submitted. He is a decision fighter, but that's fine. There's a lot of decision fighters. It might not be the most flashy thing, but those dudes put together some very good records on the way up. Volkanovski was a decision fighter. Max
Yes, he
Holloway is
was.
a
Was a decision
decision
fighter.
fighter.
Yes, he was.
Then you got people Mavsar Evloev. You got Leroy Murphy. They're decision fighters, and that's just how
Dominic
some people
Cruz.
are. Like they don't
Like,
finish the fights, but they put together some damn good wins in their thing. Um, And we've seen that he could do it in 25 minutes. So once you could prove you could do it for 25 minutes, that come down to 15 minutes. Some fighters, like, they might have a little difficulty get going. His thing is he does the most he could do to win every round. It's a no-brainer to me to pick. I think like Murphy would be the lock of the card for me. I didn't even look at the odds. Near even plus money, lock of the card. Give me Murphy. Slam that shit, dude. Come on,
I am
let's do it.
Murphy. I just think Laron's gonna prove he's another level, and he is that level. I think it's gonna be a good fight, and I hope he gets a big fight after this because he should damn near be getting a title shot. Having his record and like the dudes he has wins over. I think just one more win inside that top 6 ranking, like that upper echelon, especially after this. If he gets one more, he's fighting for that belt sometime next year. So even at 35, he still looks good. And at least he would have gotten to it. So by 35, he can decide if he really wants to continue to go or not. And
Ooh, Arnold Allen versus Murphy would be a banger. I don't know if they're friendly, but that
that's the
would be.
next fight, in my opinion, because they
Are they
haven't
friendly?
even
Because they're
gone.
both from England. I don't
I
know.
don't think so.
That's
Nah,
a
they haven't gone.
banger.
And like yo, because in like that's literally the UFC London main event. One guy's from London, the other guys from I think yeah, they're both from London. I was gonna say that
Yo,
Arnold
that
was from
would
Manchester.
bang. Holy shit. I haven't seen Arnold Allen since the Mobstar fight, right?
Oh yeah, yep. Allen fought Mobstar. Yes, he did. Arnold.
Been a while for
Mhm.
him. And he arguably,
Double
a
A.
lot of people, including myself, thought he was going to win that fight if it wasn't for
Those
the hands
touching
on
the
the
ground and
ground.
shit. Yeah,
Could have changed the
that was
whole UFC
yeah,
timeline
man.
right then and there because the UFC would rush him into a title fight. They like
I
him.
can't even tell you when the last time Almighty stepped into the cage,
It had to
bro.
be that. I mean, I was just looking. It had to be that. Or my
Arnold
decision.
Allen. When
Oh
was the
no,
last time
He fought Giga. He did.
Giga
He did.
Chikadze, right? He did
Yeah,
fight Giga
I
Chikadze.
forgot about that.
July 7th. Yeah, that was on that. Yeah, that was on UFC 304. He fought on that pay-per-view. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's always been like that for Arnold. He's never been the most active himself. He used to fight only once a year, but he was like ranked in like number 4 at one point. So Arnold is one of those dudes too. And Arnold Allen's still only 31 years old. Arnold Allen.
That fight's being set up
So
immediately
it has
after
to
this
happen. Yeah, it has to. Arnold Allen. He's still only
because
32.
he's
He's
not
only
booked
30.
for nothing. Nope,
Nothing. He's
nothing.
sitting at home chilling.
And
Just
Yair,
sitting
you
at
know
home.
they want to do something with Diego or Volk. So
That's what I think they want. I think they want Arnold and Yair, but I think they want Yair to get the title shot. They really, really, really want Yair to be that's who they want to pass the torch to. Given like his cachet, like he's like like no homo. He has a look to him. You feel me? Like he has a good style. It's been like that since day one with Rodriguez. It's been a main event fighter since the BJ Penn shit. So they've always liked Yair. But going into the last fight of the evening, one of the greatest middleweight championships of all time, in my opinion, on paper. Finally get to see one of the greatest prospects of all time fight for the belt. The greatest prospect of all time, in my opinion, in all of MMA. The greatest prospect. If he goes on to submit this dude, like he'll literally just fulfill the prophecy. And that's what I've been saying, like he would fulfill the prophecy. Like, I really don't give a fuck about the fan base, none of that. I like him as a fighter, him as a person. I love him, like, just watching him fight. And I've been high on him since day one. I refuse to fuck around with this dude. But y'all know how we like to do this. I could do Chimaev, and the boy Nikki could do the defending champion, the greatest middleweight on planet Earth. I'm gonna start out with Hamzat. So obviously we know what Hamzat the Wolf, extremely dynamic wrestler, good striker as well. Does have power in his feet. Doesn't use legs that much at all. No body kicks, no leg kicks, none of that stuff. Pure boxing and really wrestling. But he does have thunder in his hand, so he can drop dudes with the boxing. And he has pretty good boxing defense too. The way he'll turn off and to avoid the counter in this combination, you can see he definitely has good boxing defense for certain. And we saw that when he knocked out Ikram Iliskerov on the regional scene. At that, he had been knocked that dude out, been sent him to the shadow realm, and he came out into the UFC, grounding and pounding, submitting, slamming. Like he just really showed like he was a different level. The Gilbert Burns and the Kamaru Usman's fights, obviously those two massive step up. For Hamzat, the Gilbert Burns fight, he still won, but it was a lot of adversity for him at the moment. You can say whatever you want, the weight cut, whatever. I think he fought the number 2 welterweight in the world that night in the rankings, and I think that was indicative of what happened. He was the number 11 guy. He stepped up, fought the number 2 guy, and that's what happens when you take that massive up a step up, man. Well, other than working your way up, fighting, other ranked guys here and there. So for this, that being said, I think he's passed 3 tests with flying colors. The Usman fight, that could have been a draw, but he took an opponent switch up on like 11 days notice. And Usman, no matter if ups off the couch or anything, that's one of the greatest fighters of all time. That'll forever be a hard fight for anyone. And you saw how he felt in that UFC Atlanta main event. I'm still the fucking boogeyman. Like, he felt tried, that people thought they could just throw him away and forget about him after such a dominant title reign, And that was a great win over Usman, even on 11 days notice. Don't get me wrong, Usman stuffed 8 out of 11 takedowns, but it was still good for Hamza to go through the adversity and go through to the final bell. And like, you saw how he hugged and embraced Kamaru after that fight. The respect he gained for Kamaru was really fun to watch. That was really cool to see. And for this, like I said, dynamic wrestler, probably the best wrestler damn near inside the UFC right now, in all of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. He is the best wrestler. Has the best double leg takedown, shoot from across the cage and get the takedown. It's really super dynamic. Something we've never really seen before, to be quite honest. Even when Khabib was here, it was just his pace and his pressure to get the fight to the ground. Hamza isn't letting these dudes stand up for more than like 15, 20, like 10 seconds before he's shooting and getting the fight to the ground. We saw him submit Whitaker in that first round, and his teeth, his jaws, like, it was crazy to watch that. And yeah, man, that's all I can really say. He's really just shows his wrestling and his striking, That's all we really know about him, and we know what he does is super effective. All I can really say is people thought he was going to be a champion from day one, and we're about to see if that's the case, So I'm really excited to see him finally in this spot. He made it here at 26. He got to the title shot at 31, so it did take a little bit, but he's finally here, young enough to have a real title reign at 32, 33 years old, being his prime. So I am really excited to see what happens here. He's coming in a minus 210 favorite over the champion. So we'll see what happens, man. Most definitely. But you can go ahead and give your breakdown, Nikki. We can give the picks after.
All right, man. So we got the South African champion. Drake still knocks du Plessis. I mean, dude, he's putting together such an amazing resume to this point. And really, who would have thought? Like, as someone who picked him before he won the belt, I did not expect this to come out of this dude. He's been improving so much. He came into the UFC with 2 losses in his career, and he has not lost since. He's undefeated in the UFC. 9-0, I'm pretty sure, right? 9-0 he is. He started out with wins against Brad Tavares and Darren Till, a fan favorite in Darren Till. He was able to choke him out. In his next fight, he just imposed his will on Derek Brunson, got a corner stoppage. They threw in the towel. He was just on top of him and just smothering him and just being a blanket in that fight, and really just, like I said, imposing his will in that fight. After that, he got his International Fight Week Robert Whitaker fight in that one. And
Yep.
dude, listen, let me just tell you, I said that dude Drickus. I will always hold myself to that pick. It's on Twitter. I will forever stand by that pick. Like, that's the highlight of my life right there. Dude, I picked Drickus in that fight. Man, he came out and he really showed the world who he was. Dude,
Like
he
a
just,
plus 500 underdog in that
yo,
fight.
and he just he marched forward, did his thing, threw him over his back, bro. Or was it a sweep or whatever? It was a sweep or a judo throw. It was a judo throw. Yep. Threw him and he supped him in that fight. And man, wait, so it was a finish? Power
He
jabs and
finished
punches. I
him.
thought he choked him out in that one.
No, it
Okay.
was TKO. It was a ground and pound.
It was okay. But fuck. And then, he got that shot. He got that shot with Sean Strickland. Sean
I
Strickland
couldn't
became the
believe that
champion.
shit, bro.
It was, he got that fight. arguably lost. I think he won that fight. I think he was the better fighter on that night. He went with Israel Adesanya. He fought a legend in Israel Adesanya. Um, that one upset me as an Izzy fan to see that happen. I had Izzy winning that fight. I thought he looked really good in that fight, but there was something missing in that takedown defense, and I don't know what he was doing in that fight. Um, he added another legend to his legacy in that night, and then he redefended against Sean Strickland, and he shut the haters up. There was no argument in that one. He won that one fair and square, and here we are now in August. We're in August. We're in August of 2025. Khamzat Chimaev has finally gotten his first title shot, and Dricus is the underdog in his third title defense, dude. How crazy is that? Your third title
Exactly.
defense, and they're saying you're the underdog. It's just disrespectful at that point. But dude, let's break it down. Let's make our picks. I'll start.
Mhm.
I'll start with this one, dude. I've been waiting a long time to see Khamzat get his title shot since I started watching the UFC. Khamzat, when I first started, Khamzat was the most scary thing in the UFC. Like everyone was scared of this dude. For those who don't know, my first card was UFC 279, where Khamzat was supposed to fight. It was
Nate
Nate
Diaz.
Diaz, and that got changed to Ferguson, and he ended up fighting Kevin Holland. So I was watching that fight with my friend. Uh, we call him Apex, and we watched Khamzat Chimaev completely throw this Holland guy around the cage, and that was my first time seeing this dude. First time pretty much seeing MMA fighting, so it was pretty crazy. But to get into this, I mean, Chimaev has proven he's a well-rounded fighter when healthy. There's no debate about that. I think with Chimaev, it's gotten to this point, and the same thing with Shavkat. It's like they let you guys just like fucking forget just for a little bit, just forget who we're about. That Ian Gary fight made Shavkat look real, and that Usman
Yep.
fight made Chimaev look real, and it's not fair for Chimaev, right? He broke his hand and he still won that fight. I thought, I was one of the people saying like, oh, I thought Usman maybe won, but at the same time, I was like, okay, it's a fine decision. It's not a bad decision at all.
Right.
He broke his hand after looking so good. First of all,
I forgot about that.
he dominated in the grappling. I mean, Usman had his moments. He stood up a few times, but Chimaev was just imposing his will. His striking looked good, and it's been improving nonstop. His striking. He has very good hands, Hamzat. And that Gilbert fight, people are like, oh, he got fucked up by Gilbert. That builds character. What kind of fighter would
Exactly.
Hamzat be without that fight? You can't take a fight and just disrespect people like that JDM and Gilbert Burns fight. That installed that kind of that was so important going into the Islam fight that he needed that against Gilbert. So I think he needed that for this Dricus fight, and he needed that for the Robert Whitaker fight. He need that kind of confidence that you could do it again. Um, his wrestling speaks for itself. It's the highest level in the UFC. He was just training with an Olympic gold medalist heavyweight, and he was able to hold his own in there. I've seen him nonstop. This dude is just a phenomenal grappler. Um, Moving on to DDP, he's such a well-rounded fighter, dude. His head kicks are amazing. He throws these snappy wide kicks, and they're just so clean. And he throws these overloading things, and it's just been catching people by surprise so much. He loads up a lot. He works the body in so well. He has solid takedowns. He has throws, cage work, all of it. He could prove he could submit people. Um, the thing I don't know how well that's going to work against Hamzat. Hamzat fights at such a fast pace, but he's such a counter striker at the same time. So he's going to be moving, jumping, faking the takedowns, feints. But he's not jumping in to attack you. He's going to shoot for the takedowns, but he's not going to invoke the striking. He's waiting for Dricus so he could time those takedowns, so he could time those counters. And those overhand, those wild things by Dricus, it's risky doing something so wild because the counter to that is you get taken down when you try and throw a crazy
Exactly.
overhand. And we all know this fight's going to end to the ground. And when I talk to people at my gym, like people that fight, people that know, they think that, like, they tell me that they think Dricus is going to wrestle him. And it's like, my thing is, like, do you really believe that? I think, yes, he's going to stuff a few takedowns, and it's going to get the crowd fucking pumped when he stuffs some takedowns or when he stands up. But it's not happening every time. And all it takes is Chimaev to get on top of you and, like, you're gonna see the levels to this dude. We're gonna see the levels. He's the best for a reason, dude, and he was supposed to be here for a long time for a reason. Um, I predict a sub for Khamzat Chimaev within the first 3 rounds of this fight. I think this is going to be a very tough fight for Dricus du Plessis. Khamzat's just a big dude, man. They fight weigh in at the same weight, but when they step in that cage, people say how
He's
big
bigger.
Dricus is in those past 3 fights. How he looks next to Sean, how he looks next to Izzy. That dude Khamzat is big, man. This fight's going to spend a lot of time on the floor, and that's all I got to say. I'm taking Khamzat Chimaev and new UFC middleweight champion.
Yeah, man, we're agreeing on the main event. I was gonna go with Hamzat with the first round submission. Um,
Wow.
I think he's gonna get him to the ground. I do. I think he's gonna get him to the ground, similar to the Whitaker fight. I just think it's hard for anyone to really be prepared for that takedown. Again, similar to Khabib, you know what's coming, but can you stop it? You know, and I think that's gonna be really, really difficult for Dricus to try to really brace for that impact. He knows that it's coming. Even with that, he has to stuff the takedown. You feel me? And it's really gonna set the tone for what Hamzat's about to do and his title reign. You know, he almost has 1 million followers on X. You know, has a multi-million followers on Instagram already. So he had 1 million followers on Instagram, like his third fight in the UFC. That's how big he already was. So I do think he's about to become a superstar on Saturday night, and I think he's gonna be in main events from then on there. So this guy, it's crazy, like he never had like a main event. This is his first main event. He had the Nate Diaz shit, but he never made it to the fight. This is his first main event. It's the title fight, so it only makes sense. He'd be 15-0 if he wins this fight. So we're gonna see what happens, man. But I think it's a star-making performance for the winner, given that the dragon that Drake has to slay and the monster that Hamzat has to beat. So I am excited for this fight. And yeah, man, like I got Hamzat, man. I do like first round sub. And we're gonna see what happens, man. I'm truly intrigued to see how the fight goes when they're both fresh in the first round. It's gonna be cool watching a whole good card like that, knowing we have that main event
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
man.
glad we could agree on that, dude, because it hurt going to the gym every day and everyone's picking Dricus in my face, and it's like I'm fine with that pick. It's not like a disrespectful pick to Chimaev because like I think Dricus is really good and I understand why they pick him because I was at one time that person picking Dricus, but like I said, I think it's a big fuck you to Chimaev because like, did we forget? Did we forget? And I was talking to people, and I was bringing up the Shavkat situation. It's like, did we forget? And I think people are forgetting how good Chimaev is, how good Shavkat
Exactly.
is. They're forgetting. They were a boogeyman for a reason, and there's no reason to think otherwise because he had a close fight with Kamaru Usman, the second greatest welterweight of all time.
All time.
Oh, he was on short notice. Okay. Chimaev had his disadvantage too. He broke his damn hand in the fight. And it's like, yeah, we don't even have to talk about Shavkat. Like, that's another day for another topic. Also, while we are here, prayers to Shavkat because, like, that situation does suck. I don't know if you heard, he was in a car accident with his girl, his child,
Yeah.
and their 2 friends, and the 2 friends passed away in the car. Him and his girl and their child was okay, but the 2 friends did pass away. So he's obviously dealing with a lot, also coming off the injury. So obviously the MMAHOLICS send a big prayer, hopefully for recovers soon, comes well with a good mental state, because that does
Yeah.
suck. That does suck.
Absolutely. It's tragic, man. I did
Yeah,
not know that. Rest in peace to those dudes. They were just relaxing with their friend. They did not deserve that painful death in the slightest. And I'm sending prayers for him. Like, absolutely. Like
I've
that's
seen people
tragic,
on
man.
X talking shit like, oh, he doesn't fight, he's a 1 year fighter. Okay, he has a pretty valid excuse now. Sorry to like tell you that, but
And it's like, man, if you're sitting around waiting for one fucking fire to fucking fight, you're not doing enough in your personal life, to be quite honest. So that's how I feel about dumb shit like that. So like, grow the fuck up. But
But yeah, man, let's we back out of this. We give it our. I think we've both said our. Like for me, it's a 9 out of 10 guard. I like it. Now it's 15 fights. We might start like 6 o'clock on the dot now. I'm giving it.
mhm.
I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. And
Yeah,
I think
man.
it could push to a 9.5 out of 10 how the fights play out.
Most definitely. I think it's gonna end as a 10 out of 10, especially with that cinematic main event ending the way it's going to. Both of these dudes are undefeated inside the UFC. It's not gonna be a dud. It's the stylistic matchup it's going to deliver. So I am pretty intrigued. Very, very, very intrigued to see how this goes. And before we get out of here, we do gotta react to the day in the UFC Paramount deal. We were talking about before we went live on here. I think the reason they didn't choose Netflix because I think Netflix wanted a portion of their pay per view percentages, and I think that's what was gonna happen. Honestly, just seeing how Netflix operated in the past, all these big fights they're putting on, they're certainly getting a percentage of those fights, and I think they wanted that with all 12 pay per views for the UFC, and Dana wasn't about to do that, and Paramount for them it was more so an investment in the UFC, and Dana was fully down with that, and he's because he knows the investment's going to be come back and been paid in full. So I'm really excited to see how it goes. It's a 7-year agreement, no more pay per view model. Just buy the Paramount Plus package or the Paramount package, and then you just watch the pay per views when they come on Saturdays. So no more $80, no more streamies, clean streams for all the boys. So it's the end of an era in terms of the streams, but it's cool, man. It's better for the sport, but it's better for fans. It's gonna become even bigger, seeing people, didn't know about streams and they thought pay-per-views are the only ways you could watch them. So I am intrigued to see how it's gonna change the landscape of all of MMA. But if the UFC weren't the kings then, they're the motherfucking kings now. For a
Yeah.
long ass time, a decade, damn
Especially
near.
that this
So
deal includes CBS, and they are going to be having numbered pay-per-views. We'll still call them pay-per-views just so people understand what we're talking about, but numbered events as in the pay-per-view. So 321, 322, they're still going to be having numbered events live on CBS for free. So if you have cable, you will be able to still watch events. Dana White did confirm that the next year's President's card, right? President's card, the White House card will be on CBS, so you will not
on
need Paramount Plus
CBS.
for that. So for our Russian link streamers, you will still be able to watch some clean streams also yourself for free. But yeah, we'll see how much Paramount costs in the upcoming year. Right now it's 9.99, but everyone expects the price to go up. They have to make their money back. Dude, they're gonna pull an easy 9 million subscribers like that though.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's $10 now, maybe $12 after tax, with the paid subscription, no ads. I think it'll push up to about 15, 18, even up to 20 something dollars, but that's still great value. It's better than spending 80 something dollars. Plus you get all of Paramount. We're not sponsored clearly, but you get all of Paramount. They just got the new South Park. They
mhm.
did the South Park renew also. They spent I think like 2 billion on that, 2.5 billion on that also. So I mean, Paramount put out a lot of money. They're expecting to go big. Um, so yeah, I mean, shit, it's awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad they did this. I was expecting like Prime Video or something that I already
Yeah,
had. So this is a new membership we're gonna have to buy. Maybe if you could have multiple people on the same account. Me and Antoine will split an account. We'll have our MMA
that's what I
Holics
was, bro.
account.
I was gonna ask you if you wanted to do that
We'll do
shit,
it if
bro.
it's no ads, and then you could also have multiple people, like 4 people on it. We could throw ourselves on it and share an account. That would be awesome. But yeah, dude, I like it. I'm happy. It's good for the UFC. Fighter pay is going up. It's confirmed. Bonuses are
Yep.
going up. It's confirmed. So that's great. I'm trying to don't let my parents hear, but I'm trying to pursue a career. So hopefully, if I ever get there, we'll get compensated well for the damage that we put on ourselves. Is it fighting pay is a big thing, and it how you realize it's such a big thing is that
Mm,
how close Dana White and Joe Rogan are, and Joe Rogan will tell Dana White to his face that fighter pay should be put up. It's so important. I mean, these dudes put their lives on the line, and it only feels like the highest of the end of fighters are being rewarded for what they're doing, or the longest vetted. But how long do you really have in this sport? It's a dangerous sport. So I think even the dudes coming in on Contender Series that should be making more money, getting these contracts. People say, you fight 3 times a year, you'll make good money more than the average person. You're putting so much wear and tear on the one body you have, dude. You should be compensated
exactly.
well for it. So I'm glad now that Dana White realizes it and he is going to be able to improve it. because it's the most important thing. We watch these fights and we scream and we cheer, but the injuries, dude. They're never ending, dude.
It's
They
not
are
worth it.
never ending.
Genuinely.
They're always
Like
injured, man. Like you see Max Holloway right there on the screen. If one of us had his phone number, we could call him right now. Say, Max, be honest, lie detector on. Do you have an injury right now? Probably a toe, a finger, something. There's always something.
something.
There's a cut. It's always something, dude. It's a dangerous sport at that level. So yeah, that's my opinion. Very happy for this deal. It helps the fighters. It's a win for me.
No, I agree, man. Like it's cool to see how far it's come, like from Spike TV to signing the ESPN deal. The last thing I will say before we get out of here, I'm interested to see how it's gonna change, like the presentation, like where Brett Okamoto is gonna go, like where all those dudes, like what's gonna happen,
We're gonna
like.
lose that ESPN commercial break screen, dude.
It's like yeah, like the ESPN, this ESPN MMA leave. Like I don't think so because like that's like the ESPN that just covers MMA. They might not get the fighters anymore, but they're still gonna cover the sport. And it might just be a whole new broadcast team, which is so fucking crazy. And they might just replace them with CBS journalists. They have CBS Sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I am interested to see how that's gonna go. But that's it for me though. I am pretty tired, most definitely.
We'll get out of
Um,
here. Last thing for me, I mean, I also heard that Dana White still has full rights to Contender Series, Tough, and all
Contender
those
Series,
road to
right?
the UFC. So I mean, he could cut another deal with another thing and make some more money for them too.
He said people are asking if he can make Contender Series 2 times a year. Like I was saying that they could stop because they stop in October. They could kick it back up, like have a Contender Series winter version and have that start like in February. Let that go like from February to March or something like to where the spring starts.
They
It
should
wouldn't even
probably renew with ESPN Plus and then have the Ultimate Fighter for UFC and for Jiu Jitsu because I think what they did with the Jiu Jitsu was great. That Mikey
exactly.
versus
Mhm.
old buddy, I don't know his name, unfortunately.
Yeah, nah, UFC, BJJ. I think most definitely, like, it really put those dudes on the map. And like I said, I think they're gonna start merging cards, like one championship. I think at 5 p.m.
Ooh.
you'll have a UFC BJJ card, and at 6 p.m. you'll have the fight start. That's what I think
Imagine
really
noon to
start happening.
6 was UFC BJJ, and then 6 to midnight
It's
was shit, dude.
it's gonna like it's something like that is gonna start. They just have to keep improving their UFC BJJ roster, but that is going to happen most definitely. And they force them to be aggressive in the grappling to avoid any boring matches whatsoever. So,
The thing is, they gotta. I know we're about to break up. They gotta bring
no,
in
no,
the
no, you're
big
good.
boys. They gotta. I know Gordon Ryan is partially retired right now, but I
Yeah, he's
mean,
like
even
30
if he
years
was a
old.
coach or something or somehow, but they gotta make terms. The thing is, Craig Jones, dude, he's running CJI, Craig Jones Invitational. They gotta get him because once they get him, then they could get Eddie Bravo and they could get 10 Planet, and then they get all these international. CJI is big right now. The CJI 2 is coming up. It is big.
Right,
I think they even got Gable Stevenson doing a superstar fight, and they got all these different gyms, and they're doing team gym competitions where it's 5 dudes from a gym, and they're all competing. So I mean, that's a big competition right now. I wouldn't say UFC BJJ is biggest. I think Craig Jones has the biggest jiu-jitsu, obviously besides like IBJJF and them. I think Craig Jones is running jiu-jitsu right now, so that's competition. So if they get him on board, then they could start pushing the agenda that they have the jiu-jitsu.
and
They're
that's what I
running
think is about to
jiu-jitsu.
start happening. Like right now, they're building stars. They're gonna go out and get stars. That's
Yeah.
what I think's gonna happen. Like the Ruo Tolo brothers from one
If
championship.
they're in one, they're coming to the
That's gonna
UFC.
happen.
They're coming to the UFC, and they already got Mikey. So, like I said, I think Craig Jones is the biggest name they could get. But there's other dudes they could get. Like yeah, they steal some of those guys
I
from
think
one.
so. Like it's like they opened up the door for so much when they integrated that into the actual Ultimate Fighting Championship. So I think that's next. It's the Ruo Tolo bugs. They're doing MMA now.
Yep,
At least Cade is. So I'm really high on that dude. He's actually really fucking. They own
he's
their own
athletic.
gym and all that. Like they're both really good. I am excited to see how they're gonna how they will translate. I think Kate's already looking good in MMA. Or I think Ty is the one. But I know one of them is full on fighting now, and I
Yeah,
think that's Kate Rotolo. So he's looking really good, man. At 22 years old, he's looking pretty fucking good. So it's crazy how young they are. They just came on the scene like 4 years ago, super young at that time, like 17 and 18 years old. So it's cool to see how they're still developing right now. And I do think they are going to the UFC at one point. We saw Rainer de Ritter leave. And now they have Mikey Musumeci, two of the big stars in one championship history. So I'm excited to see how this goes, man. But that's it for me, y'all. On this card, unless you got anything else, Nikki.
That's it for me, man. I spoke my mind for the night.
No, that's it, man. It's a great card. There's a lot to talk about. I'm really excited for it, man. Depending how crazy it is, we might go live after the card if we're not too tired. I'm off Sunday from work, so I definitely wouldn't mind staying up. I will be in the Sherdog chat for y'all. Would we like to talk some life in MMA after the card? They always go live and stay up to like 4 a.m. after the card, so I always like doing the Sherdog chats. But yeah, y'all have a blessed night. Enjoy the fights and stay safe.
See ya.